Hey gang, so we're out here working on this 56 Chevy Bel Air of my buddy Mike's. Um, I got this job kind of half in the middle of being done, so there's a lot of things that were done to it that I wouldn't have probably done or recommended at least. Um, Done a lot of tri-fives, and this Flaming River Wreck Opinion I'm not a huge fan of. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Okay, it's just I think it's a Mickey Mouse bunch of bullshit. Worst thing about it is that making a U-turn or making a turn, it takes a football field to make a turn on this thing. You lose a lot of your radius you're turning. It's just isn't that great, you know? So personally for me, 805 box is the way to go. But anyway, he already had it on the car, so I'm trying to unfuck it really. So what it comes down to is it was just poorly engineered for me. I mean, I don't understand why you would make a rack and pinion that has the shaft that comes up for the steering column run into the bottom of the header. It makes no sense. Why would you put it out toward the frame? If you're going to make a rack and pinion, make it fit. It doesn't fit because what it is, they have one rack and pinion they make, or they grabbed it from something else, okay? It's probably from a truck or some shit, and they make it fit everything, and it's just bullshit. So you got to use 3 different U-joints to make it even get close to working to the steering column, and it's just fucking hokey. So anyway, let me show you what I had to do to make this thing work. It came in with a bunch of U-joints on it that just was a clusterfuck, and I undid all that and redid it all. And I had to make a bracket that I've made before to make it work. So I'll show you what I've done so you can do the same thing to your car, because when you get their Flaming River kit, they give you the rack and pinion, and they give you the U-joint that goes on the rack and pinion, and they say, good luck to you. There's no instructions, there's no shit to tell you how to get it from the rack and pinion to the steering column. And as far as I know, there's nothing on the internet either that tells you. They tell you to put the rack and pinion in the car, which is fucking 101, but getting the rack to actually go up to the column is another situation. Plus, the headers you're going to use. So for me, I use Camaro headers because they swoop back, Camaro shorties, and they stay out of the way of the rack and pinion. Otherwise, you would normally use like the block huggers for a tri-5, but you can't use block huggers on this car with the rack and pinion. So if you're going to run a Flaming River, you got to use a header that has it sweeps back pretty far, like a Camaro or Chevelle maybe, I don't know, but I always use Camaros because it seems to work for me. Like the Gen 2 Camaro stuff, 71, 2, 3 Camaro stuff. So what else? Let me flip it around and I'll show you what I did, and hopefully it'll help you get your Flaming River hooked up so it actually works, sort of. So if you haven't installed your Flaming River yet, send that motherfucker back, bro. Get a fucking 805 box. You're gonna be way better off. Way better steering. It's a clusterfuck. I mean, once you see it, I don't like it. Anyway, here we go. All right, so here's where we are. Here's the U-joint you get with the Flaming River rack. Here's another that goes to a 3/4 double D. And you get a basic 3/4 double D that goes to here, right? And then it's a 3/4 double D shaft that goes up to a 1-inch double D shaft. The shaft coming out of the Flaming River column is 1-inch double D. So I already had this one laying around because they ruined the one that this guy had bought. So I had to use this, and you're gonna need a 3/4 Heim joint to stabilize everything. I try to put them as close to I can to the middle of the unit so that it gets the best stability, at least to the middle of everything, and that's what I did. I made this bracket right here. I'm going to take it off and show you basically what it looks like. You have to make one yourself if you want to run this double D up or this Heim joint. You can get a better look at it from there. Got it run out. What else? It gets close to the header. So also these U-joints, I hate these fucking set bolts, okay? So I weld them. I'm gonna TIG weld all these all together, except for the one that goes to the shaft and the one that goes to the column, so they can be taken apart. But everything else is getting TIG welded because I just don't want it to be coming apart, and I hate these goddamn set screws. This looks ridiculous. So I'll keep the set screws on it, but I'm gonna cut them back and I'll repoint the ends of them. And then if you really want them to work well, you need to drill down into where the set screw is with a bit, with probably a 5/16 bit, and set a hole in the shaft so that the set screw has something to seat against. If it just seat against, or so it has like a pit to fill into, that's really the best way to make these things sit. Let me turn this thing. So real quick, this U-joint that comes off of the rack has a real shallow bind point. So you have to be careful where you set it at. And you can see it's almost straight up and down, the rack is, to get that to come around and miss the header. So that's the way you kind of have to run it. It works that way. That's just the way it is. Personally, I don't understand why the fuck they couldn't bring it over here and run it right off the shaft. Why you gotta have that rack way inside there? If you're gonna run a rack, run it all the way out. You know? Bullshit. So anyway, let me pull this apart so you can see. I'll show you the bracket. I'm getting ready to paint it anyways and put it back on for good. I'm gonna get all the TIG welded up. But I'll pull the bracket off so you guys can see it, and then you can make one for yourself. Anyway, hang on. All right, here's the bracket. No big deal. It bolts to the top 2 bolts for the where the Flaming River bracket is. There we go. So it bolts the top 2 bolts, and then of course your heim joint goes to here, and there's no big deal. That's kind of what you're gonna have to make or something like that. You could weld the bracket on the frame, but I like being able to, go back to a regular box, hopefully at some point. But so I made this bracket so it bolts on with the rest of the Flaming River shit. So there it is. I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna put it on and then bolt it back together. I gotta weld all the heim joints together, and then we'll be all done with this. So bye now. Good luck.